My parents didn't give me less. They told me what I was worth. The card arrived graduation morning. $25 for pizza. Congrats. We spent $150K on Sarah's wedding, so we're tight right now. $25 for 4 years at MIT. By noon, I stood on stage accepting the Innovator of the Year award. Behind me, a screen displayed my journey, including that card, amount visible to every camera. The speech lasted 8 minutes. The standing ovation lasted 3. By evening, the video had 4 million views. Then their phones started ringing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This story doesn't start with the empty chairs or the viral video. It starts 3 months earlier, at 3:17 a.m. on a February morning, when my phone buzzed with an email that should have changed everything. I was awake. I'd been awake for 2 hours, lying in my cramped studio apartment near campus, listening to my upstairs neighbor's footsteps and watching the acceptance portal refresh every 30 seconds. MIT decisions dropped at midnight Pacific time. I lived in Boston. The time zone difference felt like torture. The email subject line read, "Your MIT decision is available." My roommate Jake was passed out on the futon we'd salvaged from a curb 3 years ago. I didn't wake him. Some moments you need to experience alone first, in case they break you. I clicked the link. The portal loaded slowly. MIT's servers were probably drowning under thousands of anxious clicks. Then the page appeared. Congratulations! On behalf of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, I am delighted to offer you admission. I read it 5 times. Then I checked the email address to make sure it wasn't a scam. Then I read it 3 more times. MIT, full acceptance, mechanical engineering. The school I'd been dreaming about since I was 12 years old, building model bridges in my bedroom while Sarah practiced her makeup tutorials downstairs. My hands were shaking when I called Mom's cell. It rang once, twice, 4 times, 7. Hello? Her voice was rough, annoyed. I'd woken her up. Mom, I got in. Got in where? It's 3 in the morning. MIT. Mom, I got into MIT. Silence. Not the good kind. The kind that feels like walking into a wall you didn't see coming. Oh, that's... She paused. I could hear Dad's voice in the background, asking who was calling. That's nice, sweetie. How much is it going to cost? Not congratulations. Not we're proud of you. Not we always knew you could do it. How much is it going to cost? I don't know yet. I just found out. I haven't looked at financial aid. Well, you'll need to figure that out. Mom's voice sharpened, the tone she used when discussing bills or taxes. We can't afford another 4 years of tuition. You know we're still paying off Sarah's graduation party. Sarah's graduation party, the one that cost $8,000, the one with the chocolate fountain and the DJ and the custom cookies with her face on them. Sarah had graduated from state school with a communications degree and a 2.9 gigapascals. I had a 4. I'd spent 4 years in advanced placement courses, staying up until 2 a.m. on school nights, tutoring other students for gas money. I'd taken the SAT 3 times until I scored a 1,540. I'll figure it out, I said. My voice came out flat. I just wanted to tell you. Okay, honey. We'll talk about it later. I need to sleep. Your father has an early meeting. The line went dead. I sat there in the dark, phone screen glowing against my face, and stared at the acceptance email. Jake stirred on the futon. Did you get in? His voice was hopeful, excited. Yeah. Dude. He sat up, suddenly wide awake. Mitt. That's incredible. Did you tell your parents? I nodded. What'd they say? I opened my mouth, closed it, tried again. They asked how much it would cost. Jake's face did something complicated. He'd been my roommate since sophomore year. He'd met my parents exactly twice, once at move-in, once at my high school graduation. Both times, they'd spent the entire visit talking about Sarah. Come on, Jake said, standing up. We're going to Denny's. My treat. Someone needs to celebrate with you properly. We went to Denny's. Jake ordered us both Grand Slam breakfasts and chocolate shakes. He kept saying, MIT, every few minutes and grinning, like I just won the lottery. Maybe I had. It didn't feel like winning. My phone buzzed at 4:47 a.m., a text from Mom. Congrats on MIT. Don't forget Sarah's engagement party is next Saturday. She'll be upset if you miss it. Sarah's engagement party. I didn't even know Sarah was engaged. The next morning, I called home at a reasonable hour. Dad answered. Hey, kiddo. Your mom mentioned MIT. That's great. My chest loosened slightly. Dad's voice was warm. Thanks, Dad. I'm really excited. You should be. MIT is a top school. He paused. Listen, we need to talk about the financial side of this. Your mom and I have been discussing it, and we think you should take out loans. We helped you with undergrad, but you're an adult now. This is a graduate program. You need to start taking responsibility. The words hit like ice water. You helped with undergrad? Well, we co-signed your loans. They'd co-signed my loans. I'd taken out $42,000 in student loans for my bachelor's degree because they'd told me they couldn't afford tuition. They'd co-signed the paperwork. That was their help. Right, I said. Of course. We're throwing everything we have into Sarah's wedding right now. You understand. Sarah's wedding. That was new information too. Sarah's getting married? She didn't tell you? Marcus proposed last week. They're thinking a fall wedding. Something elegant. Your mother's already looking at venues. Something elegant. I thought about my college graduation 2 years ago. They'd taken me to Applebee's. We'd split the bill 3 ways. That's great, I said. My voice sounded like it was coming from underwater. Really happy for her. We knew you would be. You've always been the responsible one. Sarah needs more support, you know? She's not as naturally talented as you are. Naturally talented. As if I hadn't bled for every grade, every scholarship, every acceptance letter. I have to go, Dad. Class soon. All right, kiddo. Congrats again. We're proud of you. The words should have meant something. They didn't. I spent the next 2 weeks buried in financial aid applications and scholarship essays. MIT's financial aid package came back decent, not a full ride, but manageable with loans. I'd be in debt until I was 40, but I'd be at MIT. Jake's mom called me 3 times to congratulate me. She sent a care package with a sweatshirt that said MIT Mom, even though she wasn't my mother. I cried in the campus mailroom when I opened it. My parents didn't call again. The invitation arrived on a Thursday. Cream-colored cardstock, elegant script, Sarah's name embossed in gold. Sarah Elizabeth Chen and Marcus Andrew Thompson request the honor of your presence at their engagement celebration. The party was at a country club. Cocktail attire requested. I owned one dress that might qualify, a black shift I'd bought at Target for mock trial competitions. I drove 3 hours to get there. My car made a concerning rattling noise the entire way. I'd been meaning to get it checked, but car repairs weren't in the budget when you were saving every dollar for graduate school. The country club parking lot was full of luxury cars. I parked my 2004 Honda Civic at the far end and walked up the stone pathway in my Target dress and Payless heels. Mom spotted me first. She was wearing a lavender dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Oh, honey, you made it. Sarah will be so glad. She hugged me briefly, the kind of hug you give acquaintances. Her perfume was overpowering. Congratulations on the engagement, I said. It's beautiful here. Isn't it? We rented the whole terrace. 200 guests. The caterer alone cost more than well. She stopped herself. We wanted Sarah to have something special. 200 guests. For an engagement party, Dad appeared with champagne flutes. He handed one to Mom, kept one for himself. Didn't offer me one. There she is, the MIT girl. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. How's the loan situation working out? Fine, I lied. All sorted. Good. Responsibility. That's what builds character. He took a sip of champagne. Sarah's going to need help with wedding planning. You'll be around this summer, right? I had a research internship lined up. Paid position. I needed the money desperately. I'm not sure yet. I might have work. Mom's face fell. Work? Honey, this is your sister's wedding. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. Sarah's wedding was 8 months away. I'd be starting at MIT by then. We'll see, I said. Sarah found me 20 minutes later, by the chocolate fountain that was shaped like a heart. She looked beautiful in a white cocktail dress, engagement ring catching the light. The ring was huge, easily 2 carats. You came! She hugged me, genuinely warm. Sarah had never been cruel, just oblivious. What do you think? Isn't Marcus amazing? It's beautiful, Sarah. I'm really happy for you. Mom says you got into MIT. That's so cool. Super nerdy, but cool. She laughed. I could never do all that school stuff. I'm so glad I'm done with education forever. Marcus appeared, tall and clean-cut in an expensive suit. He shook my hand firmly. You must be the sister. Sarah talks about you. MIT, right? That's impressive. Thanks. What's that going to run you, 200 grand? He laughed. Glad I'm done with student loans. Finally paid mine off last year. Sarah squeezed his arm. Marcus is a financial analyst. He's so good with money. I smiled until my face hurt. The speeches started at sunset. Dad stood at the microphone, champagne in hand, voice booming across the terrace. I want to talk about my daughter, Sarah. From the moment she was born, she brought light into our lives. Everything she touches turns beautiful. Marcus, you're getting the best gift anyone could ask for. We're so proud to welcome you into our family. He went on for 7 minutes. His voice cracked twice with emotion. No one mentioned me. No one asked about MIT. By 9 p.m., I told Mom I had a headache and needed to leave early. She barely looked up from her conversation with the wedding planner. The drive home took 4 hours because I had to pull over twice. The first time was at a rest stop, where I sat in my car and stared at the steering wheel. The second time was at a gas station, where I called Jake, even though it was past midnight. They didn't even toast me, I said when he answered. 3 hours. 200 people. No one said congratulations. Jake was quiet for a long moment. Come home. I'll make that disgusting ramen you like. I drove home. Jake had ramen waiting, the spicy kind we could only afford at the Asian market. We ate it on the futon and watched stupid YouTube videos until I stopped feeling like I was disappearing. Mitt's lucky to get you, Jake said at 3 a.m. Your family's just too stupid to see it. I wanted to believe him. The next 3 months passed in a blur of finals, graduation prep, and watching Sarah's wedding planning take over every family group chat. There was a chat dedicated entirely to centerpiece options. 47 messages debating roses versus peonies. I sent my MIT acceptance confirmation on a Tuesday morning. I'd signed the loan papers the night before. $85,000 in debt. My hands had shaken so badly I'd almost dropped the pen. I posted in the family group chat. Official, starting at MIT in the fall. Thanks everyone for the support. Sarah responded immediately. Yay, smart cookie. Hey, can you help me address wedding invitations next week? Mom, so proud, honey. Don't forget Sarah needs your help with invitations. Dad, congrats, kiddo. Big loans but worth it. Character building. My Aunt Linda, Mom's sister, sent me a private message. Congratulations, sweetheart. I always knew you'd do something amazing. Let me know if you need anything. Aunt Linda had always been different. She'd come to my high school graduation with flowers. Real ones, not gas station carnations. 3 weeks before my graduation, Sarah's wedding invitations arrived. Cream cardstock again, elaborate calligraphy, tissue paper inserts. The wedding was scheduled for October 15th. I'd be 2 months into my first semester at MIT. The invitation came with a note in Sarah's handwriting. You're a bridesmaid. Dress fittings start in July. Mom has all the details. Can't wait. I wasn't asked. I was told. I called Mom that night. I can't be in Sarah's wedding. I'll be at MIT. What do you mean you can't? She's your sister. I have classes. I can't fly home in the middle of the semester for dress fittings. Mom's voice went cold. This is the most important day of Sarah's life. You're going to miss it for school? It's MIT, Mom. MIT will still be there. Your sister only gets married once. She paused. We're spending $150,000 on this wedding. The least you can do is show up. $150,000. I'd eaten ramen for 4 years. I'd worked 3 part-time jobs. I'd slept in the library to save on heating bills. $150,000. I'll try to make it, I said. My voice came from somewhere far away. Thank you. That's all we ask. Now, your graduation is coming up. We'll try to be there if Sarah's dress fitting doesn't run long. If Sarah's dress fitting doesn't run long. When's the fitting? Same day as your graduation, Saturday morning. But Sarah's appointment is at 9, so we should be done by noon. What time does your ceremony start? 10. Silence. Well, Mom said slowly, we'll do our best. Sure, I said, your best. I hung up before she could say anything else. Jake found me on the apartment roof an hour later. We weren't supposed to be up there, but the landlord never checked. I was sitting with my back against the concrete wall, staring at the Boston skyline. They're not coming, I said. They're prioritizing a dress fitting for a wedding that's 5 months away. Jake sat down next to me. Didn't say anything. Just sat there. My graduation was in 2 weeks. I'd ordered 2 guest tickets, reserved 2 seats in the front row, bought a card to give them afterward, thanking them for their support even though I'd paid for everything myself. I'd convinced myself that when they saw me walk across that stage, summa cum laude, MIT bound, something would click. They'd finally see me. I'd been lying to myself. I'm still going to put their names on the chairs, I said quietly. I have to. Jake nodded. I know. The card arrived on graduation morning. I woke up at 6 a.m. to use the bathroom and nearly stepped on it. White envelope, no stamp. Hand delivered. I knew before I opened it. The card was Hallmark, generic graduate in a cap and gown, cartoon confetti. Inside, in Mom's neat cursive. Congratulations on your graduation. We're so sorry we can't make it. Sarah's dress fitting ran into complications. We're so proud of you. Here's a little something to celebrate. Taped inside was a $20 bill and a $5. $25. Below the cash, more of Mom's handwriting. Get yourself some pizza. Congrats. P.S. We spent $150K on Sarah's wedding, so we're tight right now. I stood in my tiny apartment bathroom, card in one hand, $25 in the other, and tried to remember how to breathe. $150,000 for Sarah's wedding. $25 for 4 years of MIT-level achievement. The math was simple. The message was simpler. I was worth $25 to them, maybe less. Maybe they'd just emptied their wallets and this was what they'd found. Jake knocked on the bathroom door. You okay in there? I opened the door, handed him the card. He read it once. Read it again. His face went through several expressions before settling on something like rage. You're fucking kidding me. Nope. $25 for MIT. For pizza, I corrected. My voice sounded unnaturally calm. They specified pizza, and they wrote down how much they spent on Sarah's wedding. They actually wrote that down. I took the card back, stared at it. The numbers felt obscene. $150K. Written out like that. Casual, matter of fact. I'm going to the ceremony, I said. I'm going to walk across that stage, and I'm going to put their name cards on those empty chairs so everyone can see exactly who my parents are. Jake's eyes widened. You're going to... They told me what I'm worth. I'm going to let everyone else see it too. I got dressed in my cap and gown. The gown was wrinkled. I didn't care. I pinned my summa cum laude cords on with shaking hands. Jake took photos on his phone. "You look incredible," he said. "MIT doesn't know how lucky they are." I slipped the $25 into my pocket. Left the card on my desk where I could see it. The ceremony started at 10. I arrived at 9:30. My empty chairs were waiting, front row center. 2 small name cards that I'd printed myself, reserved for Chen family. Jake's family arrived at 9:40. His mom took one look at the empty chairs and pulled me into a hug that lasted 30 seconds. "Where are your parents?" she asked quietly. "Dress fitting." Her expression said everything she didn't. The ceremony began at 10:03. 2,000 graduates, 3,000 guests, and 2 empty chairs in the front row with my family's name on them. I watched those chairs for the first 15 minutes, kept waiting for Mom and Dad to rush in, apologetic and flustered. They'd wave at me, mouth, "Sorry, everything would be fine." By 10:30, I stopped looking. They called names alphabetically. I sat in my section, surrounded by strangers celebrating with their families, and thought about $25. "Summa cum laude graduates, please stand." I stood. 47 of us out of 2,000. The applause was thunderous. Jake's mom screamed my name. I couldn't hear my own parents because they weren't there. Now, before we continue with commencement, Dean Harrison has a special announcement. This wasn't part of the program. I looked at Jake, confused. He shrugged. Dean Harrison took the podium, smiling. "Every year, our faculty selects one graduating student for the Innovator of the Year award. This honor recognizes not only academic excellence, but resilience, creativity, and dedication to pushing boundaries despite personal obstacles." My heart started pounding. This year's recipient maintained a perfect 4 gigapascals while working 3 part-time jobs, conducting undergraduate research that resulted in 2 published papers, and securing full admission to MIT's graduate program. "Would the recipient please join me on stage?" He said my name. The world went quiet, then loud. So loud. Jake was pushing me toward the aisle. His mom was crying. People were standing. I walked toward the stage in a daze. Dean Harrison shook my hand, gave me a crystal award that caught the stage lights, gestured toward the microphone. "A few words?" he asked quietly. I hadn't prepared anything. I was supposed to just walk across the stage, get my diploma, go home. But I was standing there, microphone in front of me, 2,000 people watching, and 2 empty chairs in the front row. I pulled the $25 from my pocket, held it up. "Thank you," I said. My voice echoed across the auditorium. "I want to thank everyone who showed up today." I paused. Let that sink in. 4 years ago, I came here with a dream and a lot of fear. I didn't know if I belonged, if I was smart enough, if I could make it work. My hands were steady now. I called my parents the night I got accepted. They asked how much it would cost. Someone in the audience laughed nervously. "This morning they sent me a graduation gift, $25, for pizza." I held up the cash. They also sent a note explaining they'd spent $150,000 on my sister's wedding, so they're tight right now. The silence was absolute. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm telling you because some of you have empty chairs too. Some of you know what it's like to achieve something incredible and have the people who should celebrate you ask what it costs instead. Behind me, the screen usually used for slideshows flickered to life. I hadn't planned this. Someone on the tech crew had. Images appeared. My acceptance letter. A photo of my dorm room. Textbooks stacked to the ceiling. Library timestamps showing 2 a.m. checkouts. Scholarship rejection letters. Then acceptance letters, research publications, and finally, the card. The card was huge on the screen, $25 visible, the note about Sarah's wedding crystal clear. "These are the people who showed up for me," I said, gesturing to the audience. My roommate Jake, who made ramen at 3 a.m. when I couldn't stop crying. His family, who treated me like their own. My professors, who wrote recommendation letters and stayed late to help me study. My Aunt Linda, who sent care packages and believed in me. You don't need your blood family to succeed. You just need people who see your worth. I held up the MIT acceptance letter I'd folded in my pocket. Starting in the fall, I'll be at MIT, mechanical engineering, and I'll be going alone because I've learned that some people will celebrate your potential and some people will ask what it costs them. Choose the first group. Always choose the people who show up. I walked off stage to an ovation that lasted 3 full minutes. My legs were shaking. Someone handed me my diploma. Jake appeared out of nowhere and hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe. That was insane, he whispered. So insane. The ceremony continued, but I didn't process any of it. I kept thinking about that screen. The card. $25 blown up for everyone to see. What had I done? By 2 p.m., I had 73 missed calls from Mom. I didn't look at my phone until the ceremony ended. By then, the video had been live on the university's YouTube channel for 43 minutes. Jake's family took me to lunch. A nice restaurant downtown, the kind with cloth napkins and waiters who refilled your water without asking. Jake's mom ordered champagne even though it was 1 p.m. on a Saturday. She kept calling me our MIT graduate and tearing up. My phone buzzed against my leg. Once, twice, 10 times, 20. You should turn that off, Jake said quietly. He'd been watching my face. Just for an hour. I turned it off. We ate pasta that cost more than a week of groceries. Jake's dad told stories about his own college graduation, how his parents had driven 12 hours to see him walk across the stage, how his mom had cried through the entire ceremony, how they'd framed his diploma the same day. That's what family does, he said, meeting my eyes. They show up. I excused myself to the bathroom at 2:15, locked myself in a stall, and turned my phone back on. 73 missed calls, 62 from Mom, 11 from Dad. Sarah had texted 49 times. I opened Mom's messages first. Call me now. This is not funny. Take that video down. How could you embarrass us like this? Everyone is calling me. Your father is furious. Call me right now. The messages went on, all caps, lots of exclamation points. Not a single apology. Dad's texts were shorter. Disappointed in you. Call your mother. This is unacceptable behavior. Sarah's messages started apologetic, then turned accusatory. I can't believe you did that. My friends are sending me the video. Mom is hysterical. You ruined my dress fitting. This was supposed to be my year. Why do you always have to make everything about you? I sat on the closed toilet lid and read them all twice. Waited for the guilt to hit. The shame. The desperate need to apologize and fix everything. It didn't come. Instead, I felt something else. Something cold and clear. I'd told the truth. That was all. I'd held up their card and told everyone exactly what they'd written. If they were embarrassed, maybe they should have thought about that before they wrote it. I washed my hands in the sink, reapplied my lipstick, and went back to the table. Jake's mom was showing everyone photos on her phone, me on stage, holding the award, the exact moment my speech had started. I already sent these to my sister, she said. She wants to frame one for you, for your MIT dorm. My throat got tight. You don't have to do that. Of course we do. You're family now. We finished lunch at 3:30. Jake's parents hugged me goodbye in the parking lot. His mom slipped a card into my hand. Open it later, she whispered. I opened it in Jake's car. $500 cash and a note. For your MIT adventure. We're so proud of you. Love, the family who showed up. I cried for the first time that day. By 5 p.m., the video had 10,000 views. By 8 p.m., 100,000. The university had posted it with the title, Graduating Seniors' Powerful Speech on Resilience and Chosen Family. The comments section was exploding. This made me cry. The empty chairs. $25 versus $150K. The favoritism is disgusting. Her parents should be ashamed. Anyone else notice she held up the actual card? Savage. This is why some of us go no contact. The way she stayed calm, I would have screamed. Someone had screenshotted the moment when the card appeared on the big screen. The image was crystal clear. Mom's handwriting. $25. The note about Sarah's wedding. That screenshot was being shared everywhere. My phone started ringing at 9 p.m. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was from a producer at Good Morning America. The second call came 10 minutes later. Local news station. The third was BuzzFeed. Jake was pacing our apartment, refreshing the view counter every 30 seconds. Dude, 300,000 views. This is insane. Should I take it down? My voice sounded small. He stopped pacing, looked at me like I'd suggested setting myself on fire. Why would you take it down? My mom wants me to. Your mom gave you $25 for graduating summa cum laude from college and getting into MIT. Your mom chose a dress fitting over your graduation. Took a breath. You don't owe her anything. My phone rang again. Mom? I stared at her name on the screen. You have to talk to her eventually, Jake said. I answered. Take it down. No, hello. No, how are you? Just screaming. Take that video down right now. I can't. The university posted it. Then tell them to take it down. Mom, do you have any idea what you've done? Do you have any idea how humiliating this is? Everyone we know has seen that video. Your Aunt Linda called me. Your grandmother called. People from church. My book club. Everyone is asking why we only gave you $25. Because you only gave me $25. Silence, sharp and dangerous. How dare you? Mom's voice went quiet, worse than yelling. How dare you air our private family business to the world? That card was private. You put it under my door on graduation morning. You wrote down how much you spent on Sarah's wedding. You chose not to come. We had a prior commitment. A dress fitting. For a wedding that's 5 months away. Sarah needed us. You don't understand, she's going through a lot right now with wedding planning. It's stressful. You've never planned a wedding, you don't know what it's like. I was standing now, pacing the same path Jake had worn into our carpet. I graduated summa cum laude, I got into MIT. And you gave me $25 and skipped my ceremony. We gave you what we could afford. You spent $150,000 on Sarah's wedding. That's different. A wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. So is graduating from college. College is just school. Everyone goes to college. The words hung in the air like smoke. Just school. Everyone goes to college. 4 years. Perfect GPA. 3 jobs. Nights in the library until security kicked me out. Ramen for dinner more times than I could count. Student loan debt that would follow me for decades. Just school. I have to go, I said. Wait, we're not done discussing this. Your father wants to talk to you. Dad's voice came through the phone, tight with anger. This is unacceptable. You made your mother cry. You embarrassed this entire family for attention. I didn't do it for attention. Then why? Why would you humiliate us like that? I held up a card you sent me and read what you wrote. If you're humiliated, that's not my fault. Everything we've done has been for you kids. Every sacrifice, every decision. And this is how you repay us? By making us look like monsters on the internet? I didn't make you look like anything. I showed people what you did. Watch your tone. I'm still your father. You're the father who asked how much MIT would cost before congratulating me. Who told me to take out loans while writing a check for Sarah's wedding. Who missed my graduation for a dress fitting. We had a prior commitment. Dad repeated, like it was a magic phrase that would change reality. So did I, to myself, to show up for my own life even when you wouldn't. I hung up. My hands were shaking so hard I dropped the phone. Jake picked it up, handed it back without a word. That was really good, he said finally. The thing about showing up for yourself. I think I'm going to throw up. Bathroom's on the right. I didn't throw up. I sat on the bathroom floor with my back against the tub and tried to remember how to breathe normally. My parents' voices kept playing in my head. How dare you? Just school. Prior commitment. Somewhere in the apartment, my phone was ringing again. The video hit 1 million views at 11:47 p.m. I know because Jake knocked on the bathroom door to tell me. You're viral, he said. Like, actually viral. I came out, looked at his laptop screen. The comments had multiplied. Someone made a TikTok about it. It has 500K likes. What kind of TikTok? A girl holding up the screenshot of your card and crying. She wrote, "This is my parents too," in the caption. More phones were ringing. Jake had turned the ringer off on his. I'd silenced mine after hanging up on Dad. But they kept lighting up. Text after text. Call after call. Sarah's messages had evolved. You're so selfish. Do you know what you've done to Mom? She's been crying for 6 hours. Dad had to take her to bed. I hope you're happy. My wedding is ruined. Everyone's going to think our family is dysfunctional now. You've always been jealous of me. I can't believe we're related. I should have felt guilty. Daughter guilt is trained into you from birth, especially in Asian families. Respect your elders. Don't cause trouble. Keep family business private. I'd broken every rule, but I kept thinking about the empty chairs, about Jake's mom calling me family, about $500 in a card that said, "We're proud of you," about $25 for pizza. I slept for 3 hours that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the auditorium, the stage, the screen with my card blown up for everyone to see. By morning, the video had 2 million views. My phone woke me at 7 a.m., Aunt Linda calling. "I saw your speech," she said when I answered. "I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't know they'd only given you $25. I didn't know they'd missed the ceremony." "It's okay." "It's not okay. None of this is okay." She paused. "Your mom called me last night. She's very upset." "I know. She wants you to apologize publicly. Post a video explaining that it was all a misunderstanding." "Was it a misunderstanding?" Silence. Then, quietly, "No." "Then I'm not apologizing." "I don't think you should either. I think," she stopped. Started again. "I think you've been treated unfairly for a very long time. I think your parents have a favorite, and it's not you. And I think you finally said what needed to be said." My eyes burned. "Thanks, Aunt Linda. Your Uncle Tom saw the video too. He wants you to call him." Uncle Tom. Mom's brother. The successful one who lived in San Francisco and drove a Tesla. I called him after hanging up with Aunt Linda. He answered on the first ring. "MIT, huh?" His voice was warm. "That's my girl. Hi, Uncle Tom. I'm looking at your speech right now. 2 million views. You broke the internet, kid." "I didn't mean to." "Yes, you did. And you should have." Papers rustled in the background. "I need to tell you something. Your parents told you they couldn't help with college, right? That you had to take loans?" "Yeah." "They lied. I paid $40,000 toward your undergraduate tuition. Sent the checks directly to them. They were supposed to give it to you." The room tilted. 4 years. 10,000 a year. I wanted to help my smart niece go to college. Your parents told me they'd handle the paperwork, make sure it went toward your expenses. They told me you knew. I didn't know. I took out loans, $42,000 in loans. Uncle Tom swore. "Creatively." "So they pocketed my money. Or spent it on Sarah's wedding." More swearing. "I'm sending you documentation, bank statements, copies of the checks, every dollar I sent. You're going to need it." "For what?" "For when you decide what to do next." He paused. "MIT's expensive. You're going to need help. Real help. I'm wiring you $20,000 today. For your first semester, no loans." I couldn't speak. My throat had closed completely. "You still there, kid?" "Why?" I managed. "Why would you do that?" "Because you're brilliant. Because you worked your ass off. Because your parents are idiots who don't deserve you. Because someone in this family should show up for you." His voice softened. "And because that speech took guts. You stood up there and told the truth when it would have been easier to stay quiet. That's worth investing in." We talked for 20 more minutes. He asked about MIT, about my research interests, about my plans. Real questions. The kind that showed he'd actually listened when I talked about my life. When we hung up, Jake was making breakfast. Eggs and toast. He pushed a plate toward me. "You okay?" My uncle paid $40,000 for my college. My parents never told me. I took out loans I didn't need. Jake's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. "Are you serious?" "He's sending me documentation." "Your parents stole from you." "Like, actually stole." "I think so." "Dude." Jake set down his fork. "I need to eat breakfast and pretend this isn't happening for like 5 minutes." We ate in silence. The eggs were good. Everything else was chaos. My phone buzzed. Sarah calling. I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was 2 minutes of crying, mostly incoherent. Something about her dress fitting being ruined because Mom was too upset to focus. Something about how I'd always been jealous of her. Something about how could I do this to her. Not once did she ask if I was okay. The messages kept coming all day, some supportive, some vicious. A girl I'd gone to high school with. "You always thought you were better than everyone. This is gross." My freshman year roommate. "I always knew your family was messed up. Glad you finally said something." Random number. "Your parents are right. You're an ungrateful brat." Another random number. "This happened to me too. Thank you for speaking up." Jake's phone was blowing up too. His mom's friends wanted to know how they could help. His dad's coworkers were asking if I needed anything. His sister started a GoFundMe for my MIT expenses without asking. "Tell her to take it down," I said. "Why? People want to help." "I don't want charity." "It's not charity. It's people who saw what happened and want to be part of your corner." He showed me his phone. "Look, $5,000 already. From strangers." I looked. Comment after comment. "My parents did the same thing to me. This is for all of us who had empty chairs. Go get that MIT degree. You've earned it." "Some families suck. Build a better one." I cried for the second time in 24 hours. By evening, Good Morning America had called 3 more times. So had the local news. The university president had sent an email congratulating me on speaking my truth with grace. My parents had gone silent. That should have been a relief. It wasn't. The silence felt like gathering storm clouds, like something building in the distance, ready to break. At 9 p.m., someone knocked on our apartment door. Jake looked through the peephole, went pale. "It's your parents." My stomach dropped. "What?" "Your parents. They're here. Your mom's crying." I walked to the door. Looked through the peephole myself. Mom and Dad stood in the hallway. Mom's makeup was streaked. Dad's jaw was tight. They looked exhausted, devastated. For a second, just a second, I felt guilty. Then I remembered the card, the empty chairs, just school. I opened the door. "We need to talk," Dad said. "Not hello, not how are you. Just, we need to talk." Like I was in trouble, like I was the one who'd done something wrong. I stepped into the hallway, closed the door behind me, didn't invite them in. "Talk." Mom's voice broke. "How could you do this to us? How could you humiliate your family like this?" I told the truth. "You made us look like monsters." She was crying harder now. Real tears. The kind that made me want to apologize reflexively. 23 years of conditioning trying to kick in. "Everyone thinks we're terrible parents. My friends, my book club, people at church. They're all asking questions, looking at us differently. Maybe they should." Dad stepped forward. "That's enough. You need to post an apology. Explain that you were emotional, that you exaggerated. Make this right." I didn't exaggerate anything. The video has your graduation card on display for the world to see. Do you understand how that looks? It looks like you gave your daughter $25 for graduating summa cum laude and getting into MIT while spending $150,000 on your other daughter's wedding. Because that's what happened. Mom grabbed my arm. Please, please, honey, just apologize. Say you were upset and didn't mean it. We'll figure everything else out after, but please just make this go away. I looked at her hand on my arm, at Dad's face, tight with barely controlled anger, at the desperation in both their eyes. They weren't sorry. They were embarrassed. They didn't want to fix things. They wanted to hide things. No, I said. Excuse me? Dad's voice went dangerous. I said no. I'm not apologizing. I'm not taking anything back. I told the truth, and I'm not sorry for it. Then you leave us no choice. Dad straightened, drew himself up to his full height, the stance he used when he was about to deliver an ultimatum. You apologize publicly by tomorrow night, or you're no longer part of this family, no more contact, no more holidays, you'll be on your own. The words should have devastated me. They were designed to, the ultimate threat, the nuclear option. Instead, I felt something crack open in my chest, something light and free. Okay, I said. Mom's face went white. What? Okay. If that's your choice, okay. You don't mean that. Mom looked between me and Dad, panicking. Tell her she doesn't mean that. But I did mean it. Somewhere between the $25 card and this moment, I'd stopped caring about being part of a family that didn't want me. I'm going to MIT in the fall, I said quietly. I'm going to build the life I've been working toward, with or without you, preferably without. If this is what with looks like, Dad's face went red. You're being dramatic. This is exactly what we're talking about. You always make everything about you. My graduation was about me. That's how graduation works. We had a prior commitment. To a dress fitting. For a wedding that's months away. You chose Sarah over me. And when I pointed it out, you got mad that people saw. I took a step back toward my door. I'm done pretending that's normal. I'm done accepting scraps and being grateful. You want me to apologize for telling the truth? Then yeah, I guess I'm not part of this family anymore. I went inside, closed the door, locked it. Through the cheap wood, I could hear Mom's sobbing, Dad's voice, low and angry. Then footsteps, walking away. Jake was standing in the kitchen, frozen with a dish towel in his hand. Did you just... Yeah. Did they just... Yeah. He set down the dish towel, came over, hugged me hard. Welcome to your new family, he said into my shoulder. We're weird, but we show up. I laughed. It came out shaky. I think I just got disowned. I think you just freed yourself. My phone buzzed on the counter. A text from Sarah. I hope you're happy. Mom's having a panic attack and Dad won't talk to anyone. You destroyed this family. I looked at the text for a long time. Then I typed back. I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped pretending it wasn't already broken. I blocked her number before she could respond. Outside, the video was still climbing. 3 million views and counting. People were sharing their own stories in the comments. Empty chair stories, $25 stories. Families that chose favorites and the kids who survived anyway. I'd wanted my parents to see me, to recognize my worth, to show up. They'd made their choice. Now I'd made mine. The next morning, I woke up to 247 missed calls. Not all from my parents. Some were journalists, some were strangers, but 63 were from Mom. And the voicemails had evolved from angry to desperate, to something that sounded like bargaining. Please call me back, we can work this out. Your father didn't mean what he said, he was upset. We love you, you know we love you. Just call me, please. I deleted them all without listening to the end. Jake made coffee. Strong and black, the way I'd learned to drink it during finals week when sleep wasn't an option. We sat at our tiny kitchen table, more of a card table, really, and watched the view count climb. 4 million, 4.2 million, 4.5. BuzzFeed wrote an article, Jake said, scrolling on his phone. The $25 graduate, how one woman's viral speech exposed family favoritism. Don't read the comments. Too late. They're actually mostly supportive. He turned his phone toward me. Look, someone started a hashtag, empty chair graduate. I looked. Hundreds of posts, thousands. People holding up photos of their own graduations, pointing to empty seats, sharing their stories in captions. My parents chose my brother's baseball game. My mom was at the casino. My dad said work was more important. They came but left before my name was called. Each story felt like looking in a mirror. Different details, same wound. My phone rang. Unknown number. I'd stopped answering unknown numbers 12 hours ago. It rang again immediately. Same number. On the third try, I answered. Hello? Is this the graduate from the MIT video? A woman's voice. Professional. Kind. Who's asking? I'm Dr. Patricia Chen, family therapist in Boston. I've been following your story. I wanted to reach out because I work with a lot of families dealing with favoritism dynamics, and I think you could help others by sharing more of your experience. I'm not interested in therapy. I'm not offering therapy. I'm offering a platform. I host a podcast about family dynamics. I'd love to have you as a guest. I almost laughed. You want me to go on a podcast and talk more about my family? I want you to talk about what you've already survived, how you built yourself up despite lack of support, how others can do the same. She paused. Your speech resonated with millions of people. You've given voice to something a lot of people feel but can't articulate. That's powerful. My parents would lose their minds. With respect, it sounds like they already have. She wasn't wrong. I'll think about it, I said. That's all I ask. I'll email you the details. We hung up. Jake was staring at me. Podcast? Apparently I'm inspiring. You are inspiring. You're also probably giving your mother an ulcer. But that's her problem. My phone buzzed. Email from Aunt Linda. Your mother called me again. She wants me to convince you to apologize. I told her no. She's not speaking to me now. Welcome to the club. Let me know if you need anything. Love you. Then, Uncle Tom. Bank statements attached. Every check I sent. Use them however you need. Also, your mom called. I told her she should be ashamed. She hung up on me. Family dinner's going to be awkward this year. Then a number I didn't recognize. Text message. Hi, this is Marcus, Sarah's fiancé. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a full minute. Marcus. Sarah's perfect fiancé with his financial analyst job and his expensive suit. What could he possibly want? I called him back. Thank you for calling. He sounded nervous. I know this is weird. We barely know each other. What do you want, Marcus? I saw your speech. I saw the card. He took a breath. She's been telling me things. About your family. About money. And some of it doesn't match what I'm seeing in the video. What did she tell you? That your parents helped both of you equally through college. That they're struggling financially now because they supported both of you so much. That you were exaggerating in your speech for attention. And you don't believe her? I believe what I saw on that screen. I saw your graduation card. I saw the number. Another pause. We've been fighting. About money. About the wedding. She wants things that cost more than we discussed. When I push back, she says her parents will cover it. But in your speech, you said they spent $150,000 on the wedding. That's what they told me. We budgeted $75,000. Sarah said the extra was gifts from family. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Marcus, I don't think they have that money. Press! Neither do I. That's why I'm calling. He sounded exhausted. I need to know the truth. About your family's finances. about how they actually treated you. Because if Sarah's been lying to me about this, what else is she lying about? I told him everything. The loans I didn't need because Uncle Tom had paid. The Applebee's graduation dinner where we split the check. The 4 years of ramen and library sleeping. The $25 card. Marcus was quiet for a long time after I finished. She told me you were jealous, he said finally, that you'd always resented her for being the pretty one, the social one, that you made up stories for attention. Does that sound like what you saw in the video? No. It sounds like you've been surviving them your whole life. We talked for another 20 minutes. He asked questions. Good ones. Specific. The kind someone asks when they're trying to build a case. I think I need to postpone the wedding, he said before we hung up. I think I need to figure out who I'm actually marrying. I'm sorry. Don't be. You might have saved me from a massive mistake. He laughed. But it sounded broken. Sarah's going to blame you for this too. She already blames me for everything else. After we hung up, I told Jake about the conversation. He let out a low whistle. So your parents are probably in debt up to their eyeballs trying to fund a wedding they can't afford, and they're mad at you for pointing out they gave you $25. Sounds about right. Your family is a mess. They're not my family anymore, remember? I got disowned last night. Right, sorry, your former family is a mess. I tried to smile, couldn't quite manage it. The disowning should have hurt more. It should have felt like loss. Instead, it felt like a door closing on a room I'd never wanted to be in anyway. My phone rang again. This time, I recognized the number. Grandma, I answered. Hi, Grandma. I saw your speech. Her voice was soft, sad. I saw what they wrote in that card. I'm sorry you had to see that. Don't apologize. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. She took a shaky breath. I knew they favored Sarah. I knew. But I thought they still loved you too. I thought it was just little things, not this. It's okay, Grandma. It's not okay. None of this is okay. She was crying now. Your mother called me. She said you were being dramatic, that you exaggerated for attention. But I saw that card. I saw your handwriting. That was real. Yeah. I'm so proud of you, MIT, summa cum laude, working so hard, and they gave you $25. She made a sound halfway between a laugh and a sob. I'm ashamed to be related to them right now. We talked for an hour. She told me stories I'd never heard, about Mom's childhood, about how Grandma had tried to treat her kids equally but maybe hadn't always succeeded, about patterns that repeat through generations if you're not careful. Don't be like them, she said before we hung up. When you have children someday, love them the same. All of them. Promise me. I promise. And call me from MIT. I want to hear everything. After Grandma came more calls. More texts. The family tree was splintering in real time. Aunt Linda and Uncle Tom were on my side. Aunt Susan, Mom's other sister, was staying neutral code for siding with Mom but not wanting to say so. My cousins were split. The ones who'd experienced favoritism themselves got it. The ones who were the favorites didn't. By afternoon, the family group chat had devolved into chaos. Someone created a new chat without Mom and Dad. Someone else created one without me. The original chat died quietly. Last message timestamp frozen at 2:34 p.m. Sarah posted on Instagram at 5 p.m. A photo of her and Marcus, both smiling, caption, "Through thick and thin. Family over everything." The comments were vicious. Is family why your parents gave your sister $25? Maybe support your sister instead of your toxic parents. This is embarrassing. Read the room. She deleted the post an hour later. Mom tried a different approach that evening. She showed up at my apartment again. Alone this time. Looking small in a way I'd never seen before. Can we talk? She asked when I opened the door. Just talk. No yelling. I let her in. Jake disappeared into his room without being asked. Mom sat on our Salvation Army couch. looked around at our tiny apartment. The peeling paint, the window that didn't quite close, the furniture that was older than me. You lived here for 4 years? She asked. Yeah. It's so small. It's what I could afford. She flinched. I didn't know it was this bad. You never visited. We were busy with Sarah. She stopped herself. That's not an excuse. I see that now. I sat in the chair across from her, waited. I don't know how to fix this, Mom said finally. Everyone's mad at me. Your Aunt Linda won't return my calls. Uncle Tom told me I should be ashamed. Even my own mother is disappointed in me. Her voice cracked. I don't know what you want from me. I wanted you at my graduation. We had Sarah's fitting. You chose a dress fitting over my graduation. Say it. Stop calling it a prior commitment like it was some unavoidable conflict. You chose Sarah over me. Again. Mom's hands twisted in her lap. Sarah needs more support. She's not as capable as you. You've always been fine on your own. I wasn't fine. I was surviving. There's a difference. You got into MIT. You clearly didn't need our help. I got into MIT because I worked myself to death, trying to be good enough for you to notice. And when I finally achieved something incredible, you sent me $25 and a note about how you were broke from Sarah's wedding. I leaned forward. Do you understand how that felt? $25. For 4 years of perfection. It wasn't about the money. It was exactly about the money. You wrote down Sarah's wedding cost in my graduation card. You made the comparison yourself. Mom was crying now, silent tears running down her face. I didn't think you'd show it to anyone. It was just a card. Between family. It stopped being between family when you told me what I was worth to you. That's not what we meant. Then what did you mean? Explain it to me. Make it make sense. She couldn't. She sat there crying, trying to find words that would reframe the math. 25 versus 150,000. Empty chairs versus front row seats at every event Sarah had ever had. I think you should leave, I said finally. Please, please, honey. Just tell me what to do. Tell me how to fix this. You can't fix it. You can apologize. You can admit that what you did was wrong. You can stop making excuses. But you can't fix 4 years of neglect with one conversation. 4 years? This has been going on 4 years? I laughed. Couldn't help it. Mom, this has been going on my entire life. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. That's not true. We love you. You love the version of me that doesn't make waves, that accepts whatever scraps you offer and says thank you. The version that doesn't complain when Sarah gets the birthday party and I get dinner at Applebee's. The version that takes out student loans while you write checks for wedding venues. I stood up. That version doesn't exist anymore. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. There's a difference. Mom stood too, drew herself up. The tears dried up like someone had flipped a switch. I came here to apologize, to try to make things right, and you're throwing it back in my face. You came here to make yourself feel better, to get me to take down the video and post an apology so your friends stop asking questions. That's not the same thing as actually being sorry. I am sorry. For what? Specifically, what are you sorry for? She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. I'm sorry that you feel hurt. That's not an apology, that's deflection. I don't know what you want me to say. I want you to say, I'm sorry I missed your graduation. I'm sorry I chose a dress fitting over watching you walk across the stage. I'm sorry I gave you $25 while spending $150,000 on your sister. I'm sorry I made you feel worthless. My voice was rising. I couldn't stop it. I want you to say it without but, or however, or you have to understand. Just say you're sorry for what you actually did wrong. Mom stared at me. You don't understand the pressure we're under. Sarah's wedding is... Get out. What? Get out of my apartment. I gave you a chance. You couldn't do it. You can't even apologize without making excuses. You're being unreasonable. I'm being done. Get out. She left, slammed the door hard enough that our neighbor yelled through the wall. Jake emerged from his room. That went well. She can't do it. She literally can't apologize without justifying what she did. Some people can't. They'd have to admit they were wrong. That's harder than losing the relationship. I sank onto the couch, put my head in my hands. I thought if she just heard me, really heard me, she'd understand. She'd see what she did. She doesn't want to see. Seeing means accepting that she's been a shitty parent. That's too hard. My phone buzzed. Text from Mom. I tried. I really tried. But you're determined to play the victim. Until you're ready to be mature about this, we have nothing to say to each other. I showed Jake. He read it twice. She really just called you immature for not accepting her non-apology. Yep. Your family is next-level dysfunctional. Not my family anymore, remember? The video hit 5 million views that night. The podcast host emailed me again. So did 3 literary agents asking if I'd be interested in writing a book. A TEDx organizer wanted me to give a talk. A university in California asked if I'd speak at their graduation. My life was exploding in ways I'd never imagined. My family was imploding in ways I'd always feared. I should have felt triumphant, vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. Jake ordered pizza. We ate it on the couch, watching sitcom reruns and pretending my phone wasn't lighting up every 30 seconds. At midnight, Sarah called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. You ruined my life. No hello, no preamble, just accusation. Marcus postponed the wedding. He said he needs time to think. Time to think! Because of your stupid video! Sarah, do you know what everyone's saying? They're saying we're a dysfunctional family, that Mom and Dad are terrible parents, that I'm a spoiled brat. All because you couldn't keep family business private. I told the truth. You humiliated us. You made us look like monsters for attention and internet points. She was crying now, angry tears. You've always been jealous. Always. Because I'm prettier and more popular and people actually like me. You couldn't stand that I was getting married, so you had to ruin it. Is that what you really think? It's what I know. You've always wanted what I have, and now you're trying to destroy it because you can't have it. Something snapped inside me. The last thread of patience or sympathy or whatever had been keeping me civil. Sarah, I don't want your life. I never wanted your life. What I wanted was for our parents to see me, to acknowledge that I existed as more than your supporting character. To show up for one thing, just one thing that mattered to me. They show up for you all the time. Name one. One time in the last 4 years they showed up for me without it being about you. Silence. They came to your high school graduation, Sarah said finally. They left during the ceremony because you called crying about your prom date. More silence. They helped you with college. They co-signed loans and took credit for Uncle Tom's money. That's not helping. That's fraud. You're exaggerating. Marcus called me, I said. He told me about the wedding budget, about how the numbers don't add up, about how you've been lying to him about money. I could hear her breathing on the other end. Sharp, panicked. That's between me and him. Everything's connected, Sarah. Mom and Dad taught us how to handle money and relationships and self-worth. I learned I had to earn every scrap of attention. You learned you'd always get what you wanted. Neither of those lessons was healthy. Don't psychoanalyze me. You're not better than me just because you went to fancy schools. I never said I was better. I said we were both damaged by the same parenting, just in different ways. At least I have a fiancé. At least I have friends. At least people like me. Her voice was venomous now. You're going to end up alone, bitter and alone, because you push everyone away with your victim complex and your need for attention. If being alone means not pretending everything's fine while it falls apart, I'll take it. You're going to regret this. When you're at MIT with nobody who cares about you, when you've burned every bridge, you're going to regret pushing away your family. You keep using that word, family, like it means something in our case. We're blood. Blood isn't enough. Not anymore. I hung up, blocked her number before she could call back. Jake was standing in the kitchen doorway. You okay? No, but I will be. My phone buzzed one more time. Email from Uncle Tom. Wired 20,000 to your account. Should clear in 24 hours. Go build something beautiful at MIT. Leave the broken pieces behind. Love you, kid. I opened my banking app. Refreshed it. The deposit was already pending. $20,000. Real support. Not strings attached. Not contingent on my silence or my gratitude or my willingness to pretend everything was fine. Just support. Because someone believed in me. I showed Jake. He whistled low. Your uncle is officially my favorite person. Mine too. Outside, the city hummed with late-night traffic. Inside, my phone was finally quiet. All the important people blocked. All the toxic voices silenced. In 3 months, I'd be at MIT. New city, new life, new family built from people who chose to show up. The video would fade eventually. The internet would move on to the next viral story. But the truth I'd told would remain. Permanent. Undeniable. $25 versus $150,000. Empty chairs versus front row seats. The math had always been simple. I'd just finally stopped pretending I couldn't do it. I fell asleep that night thinking about MIT, about lecture halls and laboratories and possibilities, about a future where I wasn't constantly trying to prove I deserved to exist, about a life where showing up for myself was enough. The email from Tesla arrived at 7:42 a.m. on a Tuesday, 3 weeks after my graduation. Subject line: Offer of employment, senior engineering position. I read it 4 times before the words sank in. Senior position, not entry level, not junior, senior. $160,000 annual salary, $40,000 signing bonus. Stock options. Relocation assistance to Palo Alto. My hands shook as I clicked through the attachment. The offer letter was 12 pages. Detailed benefits. Start date flexibility. A note at the bottom. We were impressed by your research and your resilience. Welcome to the team. I'd applied on a whim 2 months ago. Before the video. Before everything imploded. I'd barely remembered submitting the application. Now I was holding a job offer that would change everything. Jake was still asleep. I grabbed my phone and stepped onto our tiny balcony, more of a fire escape, really, and called Uncle Tom. He answered on the second ring. Please tell me you're calling with good news. I need good news. I got a job offer. Tesla, $160,000 base salary. Silence. Then, are you serious? $40,000 signing bonus. Stock options. They want me to start in August. Holy shit, kid. That's incredible. He laughed, loud and genuine. When do you start? I haven't accepted yet. I'm supposed to start MIT in September. Can you defer? Maybe. Probably. I don't know. I sat down on the rusted metal stairs. It's a lot of money, Uncle Tom. I could pay off my loans in 3 years. 2 if I'm aggressive about it. What does your gut say? I looked out at the Boston skyline, the city I'd lived in for 4 years, the city that had watched me survive and struggle and finally break free. My gut says MIT can wait a year. This opportunity might not. Then you have your answer. I called MIT's admissions office at 9 a.m., explained the situation. The woman on the phone was understanding. Almost excited for me. Tesla's an incredible opportunity. We can absolutely defer your admission for 1 year. You'll start in September 2024 instead. Same financial aid package, same everything. It was that simple. 1 phone call. 1 decision. I accepted Tesla's offer at 10:15 a.m. The signing bonus hit my account 3 days later. $40,000. More money than I'd ever seen in one place. More than I'd earned in total over 4 years of part-time jobs. I paid off half my student loans immediately. $20,000. Gone. Just like that. The weight that lifted from my chest was physical, real. I sat at my laptop watching the loan balance update and cried for 10 minutes straight. Jake found me there, tears streaming down my face, loan statement on the screen showing $22,000 remaining. You paid them off? Half. I paid off half. He hugged me from behind, chin on my shoulder. You're free. Not quite free, but closer than I'd ever been. I didn't tell my parents about Tesla, didn't post about it, didn't announce it in any family chat. I told Uncle Tom and Aunt Linda and Grandma and Jake's family, and that was it. The people who'd shown up got to celebrate with me. The people who hadn't didn't get to know. My phone had been quiet for 3 days. No calls from Mom, no texts from Dad. Sarah's number was blocked. The silence felt like standing in a soundproof room after years of constant noise. Then Aunt Linda called. Family dinner drama, she said without preamble. You need to hear this. I'm not going to family dinner. I know, neither am I. That's the drama. She laughed, sharp and bitter. Your mom tried to organize a family dinner for this weekend, just immediate family. She sent out a group text inviting everyone except you, like you just don't exist anymore. Okay. Half the family said no. Me, Tom, your grandma, your cousins, Lisa and Michael. We all declined. Said we wouldn't attend any family function that deliberately excluded you. Something warm spread through my chest. You didn't have to do that. Yes, we did. Your mother's trying to pretend everything's normal. That if we all just gather and smile and eat pot roast, the last month will disappear. We're not playing along. What did she say? She called me crying, said I was choosing you over her, that I was betraying my own sister. I told her she betrayed her own daughter first. Aunt Linda's voice softened. I also told her I was proud of you, for speaking up, for not backing down. She didn't want to hear it. We talked for 20 more minutes. She told me about the family fractures spreading like cracks in ice, about cousins taking sides, about Thanksgiving plans already falling apart 4 months early. Your mom's losing her mind trying to control the narrative, Aunt Linda said. She keeps telling people you exaggerated, that the video was misleading. But everyone saw that card. Everyone saw the empty chairs. She can't explain that away. After we hung up, I felt something I hadn't expected. Not quite satisfaction, not quite vindication. Something quieter, like watching a storm from inside a safe house. The consequences were happening without me. I didn't have to do anything. Just exist. Just keep moving forward. Jake's GoFundMe for my MIT expenses had hit $15,000. Strangers from the internet. People who'd seen the video and wanted to help. The comments section was full of stories. My parents did this to me too. Here's $50 for your future. I wish I'd had your courage at your age. Here's $100. My daughter is you in 20 years. Here's $200, so she knows someone cares. I'd fought Jake about keeping it open. It felt like charity, like pity. But reading the comments, I realized it wasn't pity. It was solidarity, recognition, people saying, I see you, and what happened to you matters. I left the GoFundMe open. 2 weeks before my Tesla start date, Good Morning America called again. Same producer, more persistent this time. We'd love to have you on for a segment about family dynamics and achievement. 5 minutes. You'd be on with Dr. Patricia Chen, the family therapist who reached out to you. Just sharing your story. My family will lose their minds. With respect, it sounds like that ship has sailed. She wasn't wrong. I said yes. The segment aired on a Thursday morning. I watched it from Jake's laptop, hands sweating, stomach churning. The host introduced me as the graduate whose viral speech started a national conversation about family favoritism. They played a clip from my graduation, the part where I held up the card. The camera had caught every detail. $25, Mom's handwriting, the note about Sarah's wedding. Then I was on screen. They'd recorded my interview 2 days prior. I looked calm, professional. not at all like someone whose insides were screaming. "What did you hope to accomplish with your speech?" the host asked. "I wasn't trying to accomplish anything. I was just tired of pretending, tired of acting like $25 for MIT was normal, like empty chairs were okay." On screen, my voice was steady. "Sometimes, the truth is uncomfortable. But it's still true." Dr. Chen spoke next, about favoritism patterns, about golden child and scapegoat dynamics, about how families often sacrifice one child's needs to maintain another's image. "What we saw in that video," she said, "was a young woman who'd spent years trying to be good enough. And when she finally achieved something extraordinary, her family told her exactly what she was worth to them. $25. That's devastating." The host turned back to me. "Your parents have been silent publicly. Have you spoken to them privately? They came to my apartment, asked me to apologize publicly, to say I exaggerated." I paused. I couldn't do that, because I didn't exaggerate. I just told the truth. "Do you regret the speech?" "No, I regret that it was necessary." The segment ended with a message. If you're struggling with family favoritism, resources are available. You're not alone. The video clip from GMA was shared 50,000 times in the first hour. My phone exploded. Again. But this time, the calls weren't from my parents. They were from more journalists, more podcasters, a literary agent who'd left 3 voicemails, a university administrator asking if I'd speak at their Student Mental Health Awareness Week. My 15 minutes of fame were stretching into 30, 40, an hour. At 2 p.m., Aunt Linda called. "Your mother just called me. She's hysterical. Did you really go on Good Morning America?" "Yeah." "She's saying you're destroying the family on purpose, that you're deliberately humiliating them for attention." "I'm telling my story. If they're humiliated by the truth, that's not my problem." Aunt Linda was quiet for a moment. "Good. That's exactly right. I just wanted to warn you, she's not done. She's talking about lawyers, about defamation. I have the card. I have photos of the empty chairs. I have Uncle Tom's bank statements showing money they stole. They don't have a case." "I know. I told her that." She didn't want to hear it. Aunt Linda sighed. "She's losing control of the narrative. That terrifies her more than anything." After we hung up, I pulled out the documentation, Uncle Tom's bank statements, copies of my loan paperwork, the card itself, preserved in a plastic sleeve like evidence. If they wanted a legal fight, I was ready. But they didn't call, didn't text, didn't send lawyers. Instead, Sarah's engagement fell apart. Marcus called me 3 days after the GMA segment. His voice was flat, exhausted. "I ended it. The engagement. Everything. I'm sorry." "Don't be. You tried to warn me." He laughed. But there was no humor in it. The wedding debt was real. Her parents put $75,000 on credit cards. They were counting on my parents to contribute another $75,000. When my parents said no after seeing your video, everything unraveled. "What happened?" Sarah admitted they'd been lying about money. "About a lot of things. Her parents aren't wealthy. They're drowning in debt trying to maintain appearances. The wedding, the country club membership, the cars, all of it's financed. They have nothing." I thought about Mom's designer dresses, Dad's expensive watches, the image they projected versus the reality they lived. "I'm sorry you got caught in this." "I'm not. Better to find out now than after the wedding." He paused. "Sarah's moving back in with them. She's telling people I'm the problem. That I wasn't supportive enough, but her friends saw your video. They're asking questions. She's going to blame me." "She already is. But that's her pattern, right? Nothing's ever her fault." We talked for a few more minutes. He wished me luck at Tesla. I wished him luck finding someone honest. After we hung up, I felt a strange mix of sympathy and satisfaction. Sympathy for Marcus, who'd been lied to. Satisfaction that the truth kept rippling outward, revealing things that had been hidden for years. The next day, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is your Aunt Susan. I owe you an apology." Aunt Susan, the neutral one, the one who'd stayed silent through everything. "I saw your GMA interview. I saw Dr. Chen's analysis. I've been thinking about it for days." A pause. "I've watched your mother favor Sarah for years. I told myself it wasn't that bad, that you were fine, that I shouldn't get involved. I was wrong. Thank you for saying that. Your mother called me last night. She wanted me to tell you to stop talking to the media, to stop embarrassing the family. I told her no. I told her she should be embarrassed by her own actions, not your honesty." How did she take that? "She hung up on me. I think I'm officially on your side now, which means I'm officially uninvited to family dinner." She sent a laughing emoji. "Worth it." The family was fracturing in ways I'd never imagined. Battle lines drawn, sides chosen. The people who valued truth versus the people who valued image. I'd been afraid of this. Of tearing the family apart. Of being responsible for the collapse. But sitting in my apartment, reading Aunt Susan's texts, I realized something. I hadn't torn anything apart. I'd just stopped holding broken pieces together. The family had been fractured for years. I'd just been the first person to stop pretending otherwise. 3 days before my Tesla start date, Grandma called. "Your parents are having a crisis," she said without preamble. "Financial crisis. Emotional crisis. Everything crisis." "What happened?" "The credit card companies are calling. The wedding vendors want their deposits back. Marcus's parents are threatening legal action over some loan they gave Sarah." Grandma sighed. "Your mother called me crying, said everything's falling apart. I told her she did this to herself." "How did she respond?" "She asked if I'd talked to you recently." I said yes. "She asked if I was helping you financially." I said that was none of her business. Then she said I was choosing you over her." "I'm sorry, Grandma." "Don't be. I am choosing you over her. Because you told the truth and she can't handle it." Her voice strengthened. "I'm proud of you. For the speech. For the interview. For not backing down. You're stronger than she ever was." We talked for an hour. She told me about her own mother, my great-grandmother, who'd favored her brother. About how that favoritism had shaped her entire childhood. About patterns that repeat until someone breaks them. "You broke it," Grandma said. "You stopped the cycle. That takes courage." After we hung up, I sat on the balcony and watched the sunset. Orange and pink stretching across Boston's skyline. My last week in this city. My last week in this chapter. Jake came out and sat beside me, handed me a beer. "You ready for California?" "I think so." "You scared?" "Terrified." He clinked his bottle against mine. "Good. Means it matters." My phone buzzed. Email from the literary agent who'd been calling. "Still interested in your story. Publishers are interested too. Think about it. A book could help a lot of people." I stared at the email for a long time. A book. My story. Published. Permanent. My parents would never forgive me. But maybe that was okay. Maybe forgiveness wasn't the goal anymore. Maybe the goal was just truth. And freedom. And building something new from the ashes of something that never worked. I replied to the agent, "Let's talk." Jake read over my shoulder. "You're really doing this." "I'm really doing this." "Your mom's going to have a breakdown." "My mom's already having a breakdown. This just makes it official." He laughed, shook his head. "You're kind of a badass, you know that?" "I'm just tired of being quiet." The sun had fully set now. The city lights twinkled like stars. Somewhere out there, my parents were dealing with the consequences of their choices. Sarah was moving back home, engagement broken. Marcus was dodging a bullet. And I was sitting on a fire escape with my best friend, planning my future. $25 versus $160,000. Empty chairs versus new family. The math kept getting simpler. I started at Tesla on a Monday. The Palo Alto office was sleek and modern, all glass and steel and possibility. My badge had my name and senior engineer printed below it. Senior engineer. At 23. Because someone had seen my potential instead of my price tag. My manager was a woman named Priya who'd graduated from MIT 3 years ago. She shook my hand and said, "I saw your video. Took guts. Welcome to the team." No judgment. No pity. Just recognition. I spent the first week in orientation and training, met my team, learned the systems, felt something like belonging for the first time in months. On Friday, my first paycheck hit, $13,000. More than I'd made in 6 months at my college jobs combined. I paid off the rest of my student loans that afternoon. Balance, $0. I took a screenshot and sent it to Uncle Tom. He called immediately.
Free.
I'm free. How does it feel? I looked around my new apartment, small but clean, safe, mine. Paid for with money I'd earned. Not borrowed, not scraped together, earned. It feels like starting over. Good. That's what you deserve. A fresh start. That weekend, I got an email from Mom. The first communication in 5 weeks. Sarah's engagement is off. She's devastated. Marcus broke her heart. I hope you're happy. This is what your video did. You destroyed your sister's future for attention. I hope it was worth it. I read it 3 times. Waited for the guilt to hit. It didn't. I deleted the email without responding. Sarah's future wasn't my responsibility. My own future was. And my future was looking pretty good. 6 months into Tesla, I had a rhythm. Wake at 7. Coffee on my small balcony overlooking palm trees that still felt surreal. Commute 20 minutes. Spend 8 hours solving problems that actually mattered. Come home to an apartment that was mine. No roommates, no splitting bills, no counting pennies for groceries. Just space. And quiet. And the kind of peace that comes from building a life on your own terms. Jake visited in October. He'd graduated in May, walked across the same stage I had, but with both his parents in the front row. He brought photos. His whole family holding a sign that said MIT bound with my name on it. "They made this for you," he said, handing me the sign. "Mom wanted you to have it. Said you're still part of graduation, even if you weren't there." I hung it in my living room, right above the couch, the first decoration that felt like home. We spent the weekend exploring San Francisco, walking across the Golden Gate Bridge, eating overpriced dim sum in Chinatown, talking about everything and nothing. "You seem different," Jake said on Sunday, as we watched the sunset from Baker Beach. "Lighter. I feel lighter. No regrets? About the video? About everything?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. No regrets. Sometimes I wish it had gone differently, but I don't regret telling the truth. Your parents still not talking to you? Radio silence since that email about Sarah. Do you miss them? I miss the idea of them. The parents I thought I had. But the real ones? I shook my head. No, I don't miss being invisible. Jake nodded. Understood without me having to explain further. That's what real family did. They understood. Work was thriving. Priya had assigned me to a battery efficiency project. High stakes, high visibility, the kind of project that could make or break a career. I threw myself into it. Late nights, early mornings. The kind of obsessive focus I'd developed in college. But this time it felt different. Not desperate. Not trying to prove worth. Just genuinely excited about the work. 3 months in, we had a breakthrough. A new cooling system that increased efficiency by 12%. The team celebrated with expensive whiskey in the conference room. Priya pulled me aside afterward. "Corporate wants to know if you'd be interested in leading the next phase. It's a promotion, project lead, comes with a significant raise." How significant? 190 base, plus bonuses. $190,000. I'd been making that much in less than a year. I said yes. The promotion was announced the next week. My team congratulated me. Priya took me to lunch. My manager's manager sent an email about exceptional talent and leadership potential. I called Uncle Tom that night. Project lead at Tesla, 190 base salary. He whooped so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. That's my girl. 23 years old and running projects at Tesla. 24 next month. Even better, we're celebrating. I'm flying down next weekend. We're going to the nicest restaurant in Palo Alto and ordering everything. He did exactly that. Showed up Friday night with a bottle of champagne and a card. Inside was a check for $5,000. For your emergency fund, he said. Every adult needs 6 months of expenses saved. This is a start. I tried to refuse. He wouldn't hear it. Your family. This is what family does. That word again. Family. It meant something different now. Not blood. Not obligation. Just people who showed up. Thanksgiving came. Jake invited me to his family's dinner in Boston. I almost went. Then, Aunt Linda called. Alternative Thanksgiving at my house. You, me, Tom, Grandma, and anyone else who's tired of pretending everything's fine. What do you say? I flew to Denver. Aunt Linda's house was warm and chaotic. Uncle Tom brought his boyfriend first time I'd met him. Grandma made her famous apple pie. My cousins Lisa and Michael came with their partners. We ate turkey and stuffing and talked about everything except my parents. After dinner, Grandma pulled me aside. Your mother called me last week, asked if you'd be at Thanksgiving. What did you tell her? I told her you'd be with family. She asked what that meant. I said it meant people who show up. Grandma squeezed my hand. She didn't like that answer. How's she doing? Not well. The debt's catching up to them. Sarah's back home. No job. No prospects. Your father's working overtime trying to cover everything. Grandma's face softened. I almost feel sorry for them. Almost. Almost? Then I remember that card, those empty chairs, and I stop feeling sorry. I hugged her. This tiny woman who'd chosen truth over comfort, who'd walked away from her own daughter to support her granddaughter. Thank you, I whispered, for choosing me. Always, sweetheart, always. Christmas was quieter. I stayed in California, worked through the holidays voluntary, not necessary. The office was peaceful, empty. I made more progress in 2 weeks than I had in the previous month. New Year's Eve, I went to a party with coworkers. Drank champagne, counted down to midnight. Kissed a guy named David who worked in software. It didn't go anywhere, but it was nice. Normal, the kind of normal I'd never had. At midnight, I checked my phone. No messages from my parents, no guilt trip about missing Christmas. Just silence. It should have hurt. It didn't. January brought the book deal. The literary agent had been shopping my proposal to publishers for 3 months. We got 5 offers. I chose the one with the editor, who understood what the book needed to be. Not a revenge story, she'd said in our call. Not a trauma dump, a survival story. About building worth from within when the people who should have taught you that failed. The advance was $30,000, half on signing, half on delivery. I signed the contract in February. The book would take a year to write, maybe more, but I had time, and I had a story that needed telling. Not just mine, all the empty chair stories, all the $25 moments, all the kids who grew up being told they were too capable to need love. In March, the video hit 10 million views. A year after my graduation, the comments were still coming. This gave me the courage to go no contact with my toxic family. I'm a parent, and this made me reevaluate everything. My daughter is you. I'm trying to do better. Empty chair graduate here too. You're not alone. I read them sometimes, late at night, when I needed reminding that speaking up had mattered. That truth, even uncomfortable truth, had value. Spring in California was beautiful. Cherry blossoms and perfect weather, and the kind of light that made everything look like a movie. I started dating someone, a woman named Claire who worked in marketing. She'd seen the video. We talked about it on our second date. That must have been terrifying, she said. Going public like that. It was more terrifying staying quiet. She got it, understood without me having to explain. We dated for 3 months. It ended amicably when she took a job in Seattle. But those 3 months felt like practice. Like learning how to let someone in when you'd spent years keeping everyone out. Work kept growing. The battery project launched. Got written up in tech journals. Priya recommended me for a conference speaking slot. I said yes. Standing on that stage, talking about engineering solutions to people who actually cared what I had to say, I felt something click into place. This was what showing up looked like. Not empty chairs and pity pizza money, but actual presence, actual recognition, actual worth. By summer, I'd saved $60,000. Emergency fund, MIT fund, life fund, money that was mine, not borrowed, not owed, just mine. I bought a car, nothing fancy, a used Honda, but it was reliable, paid in cash, no loan. The freedom of that felt bigger than it should have. Aunt Linda called in July. Her voice was strange, careful. Your mother wants to talk to you. My stomach dropped. Why? Sarah's in therapy. Apparently, the therapist suggested your mom reach out. Try to reconcile. Linda paused. I told her you'd probably say no, but I promised I'd ask. What does she want to say? I don't know. She didn't tell me. Just asked if I thought you'd take her call. I thought about it for 3 days. Talked to Claire, talked to Jake, talked to Uncle Tom. Everyone said the same thing. Only if you want to. Did I want to? I didn't know. Finally, I called Aunt Linda back. Tell her I'll meet her. Public place. 1 hour. If she makes excuses or justifications, I'm leaving. I'll tell her. The meeting was set for August. A coffee shop halfway between San Francisco and where my parents now lived. They'd moved. Downsized. Sold the house I'd grown up in to cover debt. I arrived early, ordered coffee, sat at a table near the window, watched people walk by, tried to calm my racing heart. Mom arrived exactly on time. She looked older, thinner. Her designer clothes were gone. She was wearing jeans and a Target sweater. Hi, honey. Hi, Mom. She sat across from me, ordered tea. We waited in silence until the barista brought it. Thank you for meeting me, Mom said finally. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't. I wouldn't have blamed you. She wrapped her hands around her mug. Sarah's therapist has been working with her. On accountability. On recognizing patterns. She suggested I might need therapy too. Do you? I started last month. Mom looked at me, really looked at me. I'm sorry. The words hung in the air. For what? I asked. Specifically. For missing your graduation, for the card. For the $25 while we spent $150,000 on Sarah's wedding. For years of making you feel invisible. Her voice cracked. For not seeing you until it was too late. I waited. For the but. For the justification. For the excuse. It didn't come. I failed you, Mom continued. I told myself Sarah needed more support because she was struggling. But the truth is, you were struggling too. You just suffered quietly. And I took advantage of that. I let you carry everything alone because it was easier than admitting I had a favorite. My throat was tight. Why? Why did I favor her? Yeah. Mom was quiet for a long time. Because she needed me. Or I thought she did. And you didn't. You were so capable. So independent. I didn't realize I was creating that independence by withdrawing support. She wiped her eyes. I thought I was helping you become strong. I was just making you survive me. The tears came, mine and hers. We sat in that coffee shop crying. Not healing, not fixing, just crying. I don't know if I can forgive you, I said finally. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I understand. But I'm willing to try. Slowly. With boundaries. If you can respect that. I can. I will. Mom reached across the table, stopped halfway. Can I hug you? I thought about it, then nodded. The hug was awkward. Brief. We talked for another 40 minutes. About therapy. About the book I was writing. About Tesla. She asked about my life. Really asked. Listened to the answers. When we left, I didn't feel healed, but I felt heard. That was enough for now. Sarah called 2 weeks later. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. I'm sorry. No preamble, just apology. For everything. For how I treated you. For not seeing how bad it was. For blaming you for Marcus. Okay. My therapist says I have a lot of work to do. On myself. On how I see the world. Apparently, I've been living in a fantasy where nothing was my fault. She laughed. It sounded broken. Turns out that's not healthy. No, it's not. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know I'm trying. To be better. To understand. We talked for 30 minutes. It was stilted. Uncomfortable. But it was honest. I saw you got promoted at Tesla, Sarah said before we hung up. That's really cool. You were always the smart one. And you were always the pretty one. Those were the roles we were assigned. Neither was fair. Yeah, I'm starting to see that. Progress. Slow. Painful. But progress. Dad never called. Never apologized. Aunt Linda said he was too proud. Too ashamed. Too broken. I didn't push it. Some people can't change. Some people won't. That was okay. I didn't need him to be different anymore. I just needed me to be free. MIT started in September, a year later than planned. But right on time for where I was. I flew to Boston on a Sunday, moved into graduate housing, met my cohort, brilliant people from around the world, all of us chasing something bigger than ourselves. On my first day, I walked across campus, past the buildings where I'd given my speech, past the auditorium with its front row seats. A year ago, those seats had been empty, a statement, a wound. Now they were just seats. The wound had healed into a scar, still visible, still there, but no longer bleeding. I started therapy in October, a recommendation from Claire. Found someone who specialized in family trauma, Dr. Morrison. She was kind, direct, didn't let me hide behind deflection. You've done the hard part, she said in our third session. You've told the truth. You've built boundaries. You've created a life that works. Now you need to learn how to be in it, how to stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. That took longer than I expected. Unlearning survival mode, learning to rest, to trust, to believe that the life I'd built wouldn't disappear. But slowly, it worked. By December, I could sleep through the night without checking my bank account. Could go days without thinking about the video. Could make plans without an escape route. The book came out in March, Empty Chairs, Finding Worth When Family Fails. The cover was simple, an auditorium, front row, 2 empty seats. It sold 15,000 copies in the first week. The reviews were good. Not all of them, some people thought I was too harsh on my parents. But most understood. A necessary story about survival and self-worth. Raw, honest, and ultimately hopeful. For everyone who was told they were too capable to need love. I did a book tour. 10 cities, small bookstores and university auditoriums. Each night, people lined up with their own empty chair stories, their own $25 moments. I signed books and listened. Really listened. To the pain, to the survival, to the hope. This was what the speech had started. Not just my truth, but permission for others to tell theirs. In May, I got an email from the university. They wanted me to speak at commencement, a year and a half after my own graduation. Full circle. I said yes. Standing on that stage again, looking at thousands of graduates and their families, I felt different. Calmer, clearer. Some of you have people in the audience who showed up for everything. I said. Cherish them. Some of you have people who showed up today but weren't there for the journey. That's complicated. Sit with that complication. And some of you have empty chairs. People who should be here but aren't, whether by their choice or yours. I paused. Let the words settle. To those of you with empty chairs, you're not alone. You're not less valuable because someone couldn't see your worth. You're not less deserving because someone chose not to show up. Sometimes the most important thing we do is show up for ourselves. The applause was immediate, overwhelming. I saw people crying, saw parents hugging their kids tighter, saw graduates looking at their empty seats and nodding. After the ceremony, a girl approached me, maybe 19, tears streaming down her face. My parents didn't come, she whispered. They said graduation was just school, that I was being dramatic, expecting them to fly out. I hugged her, this stranger, this girl who was me 2 years ago. It's not just school, I said. And you're not dramatic. You're worthy of celebration, even if they can't see it. She cried harder. I held her, wished someone had held me like this when I'd needed it. That night, I called Jake, told him about the speech, about the girl, about how far I'd come from the person who'd stood on that stage holding $25 and a broken heart. I'm proud of you, he said, for surviving, for thriving, for turning pain into purpose. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have, but I'm glad you didn't have to. The video has 15 million views now. The comments are still coming. The empty chair stories are still being shared. My parents and I talk every few months. Short calls, surface level. We're not close. Maybe we never will be, but we're civil. That's something. Sarah's doing better. She got a job. Started dating someone new. We text occasionally. Nothing deep, but it's more than we had. Uncle Tom and Aunt Linda and Grandma are still my people. The ones who show up. The ones who call just to check in. The ones who remember my birthday and celebrate my wins. Jake's at MIT now too. Different program. But we meet for coffee once a week. Talk about research and life and everything in between. I'm 26 now. Project lead at Tesla. MIT graduate student. Published author. Building a life that's mine. Sometimes I think about that graduation day. The card. The empty chairs. The speech that changed everything. I don't regret it. Not anymore. Not even the hard parts. Because those empty chairs taught me something my parents never could. That worth doesn't come from external validation. It comes from showing up for yourself. From telling the truth, even when it's hard. From building a life that reflects who you are, not who someone else needed you to be. I was worth more than $25. I always was. It just took me a while to believe it. If this story resonated with you, you're not alone. The comments section is full of people who understand what it means to be celebrated for your achievements until those achievements outshine the narrative someone else wrote for your life. Some of you are reading this from dorm rooms, wondering if you should invite family to your graduation. Some of you are years past that ceremony, still carrying the weight of empty chairs. Some of you are parents, trying to break cycles you didn't know you were repeating. Let's keep showing up. For ourselves, for each other, for everyone who was told they were too capable to need love. This is achiever betrayed where silence breaks. Where truth speaks. Where empty chairs become monuments to everything we survived. See you in the next story.